the rental business because I knew how good you were at the store.
Yeah.
So why in the hell wouldn't I sell you
That
furniture?
makes sense. Why didn't you sell it?
Or rent you a house
Yeah.
if that's what you needed.
Yeah. Well, you know the market. You knew what people were looking for when you were out there.
They were looking for the basics, John.
You were looking for that.
They weren't. They didn't come to me for high-end stuff or nothing.
Right.
They needed a refrigerator.
Right.
And I'll never forget when they came in and they used a different name for a refrigerator. What the hell was
Calvinator.
it? Calvinator.
Calvinator.
Yeah,
I want me a Calvinator. I remember Calvinator.
You know, but that's
that.
what they would come in for.
Yeah.
They never asked for a refrigerator.
Calvinator.
That's it. So, we had a lot of good times, John, and I have to keep coming back to the fact that I've just been blessed.
You've been blessed, okay? But I mean, you've put your shoulder to the plow, baby. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've been blessed.
I'm not afraid
people,
of work,
I think when we look at things in life, there's people, I've always shared, and I feel confident you've shared the same philosophy. I mean, I don't like to give my kids fish. I like to give them fishing poles.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
And I think when we do that for people, we can do things. I know people right now that I could reach in my wallet and help, but it wouldn't make a bit of difference next week.
No.
Okay, and it doesn't mean the Lord don't love them, and I'm not saying they're not going to heaven.
And that you don't love them.
But it means there's some things that you can't do with people.
Well, that's what's wrong with our government, John.
Yeah.
And I think it's a horrible thing for them to give people the money for their education. Yeah. Nobody gave that electrician or plumber or the guy that works out here. Nobody gave them anything.
Yeah, I'm 100% of the guy that I think of Dale Shreve. I just talked to him. He's bringing me a load of gravels, and we talked about. I mean that truck there wasn't gave to him. He's been working ever since I was young.
Who are you?
Dale Shreve, hauls gravels.
I need to talk to somebody about that. Okay. I need to gravel my driveway.
I'll give you his number.
Yeah.
I'll give you his number. But I've known him to be working up in that truck ever since I was young, hauling asphalt for my dad when we were young, and ain't nobody gave him that. I mean,
that's
he's
exactly right.
Working. And I think, I don't know, I think about that a lot in our life, and I think about those things when we gave people things. It's like this, John. It's hard to get people to appreciate free money. Okay,
that's true.
And some of the biggest disappointments and problems in family is when somebody does die, and they got this free money. I've really seen that happen, and it's so hard to get people in tune where that doesn't separate people. And
that's true. But take for example my girls. I have worked very hard to make them aware,
right,
and appreciate the money that they're going to get.
Right.
And it's just like my own situation, John. Once again, I inherited some money from my mother and my father, and I have all that money plus.
Right.
I didn't waste that money.
Yeah.
I invested it.
Yeah.
I grew it, and now I hope to be able to pass some of it on to my kids.
But you've passed this. See, I believe this, okay? I think breeding is important. If you're breeding horses, you look at the stud, you look at the mare. Right. Really, you got to look at the mare. Okay, hard. You know how it is with that. If you look at dogs, if you're going to breed 2 poodles, you're probably going to get a poodle, unless they're first cousins, and then they'll be crazy. Okay, I mean, you know what I mean. And
I don't know that much about that.
I think
John.
that happens a lot. Okay, and but I mean, and I think when you look at things, so when you look at bloodline, when you think about you and you think about your wife, good people. Okay, not. And there's people, and again, that love the Lord, but that are a little bit junky in the way they handle themselves with their life, okay? But when you look at those things and you look at your daughters, this is what gives you some hope too.
Absolutely.
You see that inside of them and your grandchildren. And I see it in my kids, and I know you see it in yours.
Now, John, I'll say this. I was worried about my kids and grandkids before this election.
Right.
If this election would have been wrong, I don't know what.
Yeah.
and I don't know how to protect
Yeah.
against that, John.
It couldn't.
You know,
There's just,
it
you're
just
out there.
it was scary.
Yeah.
But thank God that
Yes, sir.
I hope we're going to
Yeah.
get that resolved.
I believe it too. All right, when we talk about growing up some, John, but let's talk about when you think about people that have impacted your life. You have people that stand out in your mind that have really impacted your life overall. Who could you say?
Well, back at FMC, the head accountant who I worked for, Bob Cadell, was very instrumental in teaching me. And you know, you come out of school and you've got a business degree and everything, but it's not like getting into the actual workforce.
Right.
Bob Cadell was very important to me when I was in that phase of my life. After that, Bob Hayden. Now, Bob was not, he was a CPA, a smart guy. I loved him, but he didn't pay attention to his business the way he should have.
Right.
And see, I went to the same company that he did, and I wound up as the managing partner.
Right.
He had that opportunity before I ever thought about going over there.
Yeah.
And so Bob was, you know, I learned a lot from him. And John Glavaris, who was a senior partner at the brokerage firm that I was with, Elkins Moore Stroud. I learned a lot from him. Dick Smith, another partner.
Right.
Totally different investment styles, but you learn from them.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yeah.
what works for him, and he was successful, so it had to work for him.
Yeah.
The other one had a totally different way of
Right.
investing, but it worked for him. So
Yeah.
why am I going to, you know, find fault with that?
Yeah. Not going to reinvent the wheel.
You know, I just saw people, and those people were very important to me because they gave me a standard to go by, John.
Right.
You know,
Who are some people, when you think about people here in our area, in Tazewell, in this area, business people that you can think of that you would refer to as business people? I mean, who are some people that come to your mind that you feel like done a good job, or that you've respected, or that you think about them, or?
John, somebody that I would have looked up to or something like that, I find that hard to find.
Right.
And I don't mean this wrong,
Right.
but these people weren't the same caliber of people that the brokerage business